Hey, hey, what is up? It's Jim. I'm back with another Tiller tip. And this week we're talking about spiritual disciplines. And I can hear it already. You're just like, what? We get to talk about spiritual disciplines. Let's go. Obviously, the word discipline, like no one's really a fan of. We begrudgingly do it. Maybe we set New Year's resolutions for it. How are your resolutions going, by the way? Did you make it past Quitter's Day? All that stuff, right? But maybe we could just rebrand the phrase spiritual disciplines. I've got some ideas we could workshop, but uh, in reality, what the spiritual disciplines are it's really good for us. It is how we connect with the Lord, and we want to connect with Him. It is our deepest desire. It's what our souls want. We have a God-shaped hole in our hearts, and fortunately, Jesus is God-shaped, and He fits that hole perfectly. So we've got to connect with Him. The spiritual disciplines are how we do it, and so I know I talked about celebration several months ago in the Tiller tip about don't take yourself too seriously. I pulled out this book, The Celebration of Discipline by Richard Foster. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. Um, this book is like, I didn't know about it for the longest time. I went through almost all of seminary, and in my last semester, I was doing my capstone, and all of the resources I was using, it seemed like all of them were pointing back to this book, like, oh, Richard Foster says this, and, celebration of discipline that. And I'm like, maybe I need to check out this book. So I'm so glad I did. So what I want to focus on today is, what the spiritual disciplines are and how do we do it. So he details 12 different spiritual disciplines. There's four that are inward, four that are outward, and four that are corporate. The last one that he details is the spiritual discipline of celebration. He says that that's a spiritual discipline in and of itself, but beyond that, it is the spiritual discipline that makes all the other disciplines work well. One of the lines in it that I just like has gripped me is that the spiritual disciplines without a heart of festivity or celebration, they can become dull, death breathing tools in the hands of modern Pharisees. Now, think about that. That is like a really bold statement, but I honestly think it's true. Think about the Pharisees that we read about in the Gospels. And um, Jesus and the Pharisees, they did not get along very well. It was very contentious. But they were like the best at the spiritual disciplines, weren't they? They knew their Bible better than everyone else. They prayed better than everyone else. They fasted better. They Sabbathed better. Like they crushed the spiritual disciplines. And I don't know about you, but I know like often when I go to church, I get this narrative of like, hey, read your Bible better, pray more, do the things with more consistency. And that's not a bad narrative at all. But Jesus wasn't impressed by these guys who like objectively crushed the spiritual disciplines. Like, don't you think that Jesus should have said, hey, guys, I know the Pharisees are kind of knuckleheads, but we would all do well if we followed their example. Like, that is not his narrative at all. He is not impressed. And why is that? It's because they lacked a heart of celebration. And so, check out this book, read it, like read every single chapter, learn about all the different spiritual disciplines, definitely learn about celebration. But I don't think the point is for us to be awesome at all 12 spiritual disciplines. Okay. Like, I don't think that. I think maybe practice them and learn them and figure out, how they work. And, for me, solitude is like a money spiritual discipline. I connect with the Lord so well when I engage in solitude. It is amazing. Um, if you've got questions about that, please feel free to reach out. And I'd love to give you some more understanding or help you with solitude. There's other disciplines I don't do as well with, like fasting. I just tend to be hangry, and it's hard for me to connect with God in the midst of fasting. Now, I'm glad that I've done it. I've practiced it several times, And if the scenario came up that it would like, oh, that would make sense for me to do that, I would absolutely pull that lever and dive into fasting, and that would be a good and wise thing. But that's just not going to be a spiritual discipline that I engage with regularly. Once again, the point is not to be awesome at all of them, but to learn them, find what does work for you, and engage that with regularity and gusto and honestly, celebration. So, I was just telling a friend, a guy that I coach, encouraging him to try solitude because it really seemed to fit the season. It fits where he's at and what he needs. And, for him to engage in the silence just to hear from God might be really great. Now, I don't know. That might not be a great way for him to connect with the Lord, but he's going to give it a shot, and I'm pumped for him. So, yeah, man, check this out. This is an incredible read. It's not over the top. It actually is pretty basic. It's not like it goes on and on. It just gives some real understanding and some ideas of how to engage the spiritual disciplines. And I'm so glad I did. Solitude has changed my life in some serious ways. And I was telling my buddy, I don't think I'd be doing this today if I didn't engage solitude way back when and consistently through, because God has revealed little bits and nuggets all the way through that has gotten me to this point, and I'm really grateful for that. So that's what I have. I hope you're not turned off by the phrase spiritual disciplines. If you've got ideas of how to rebrand that, let me know. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys, and yeah, thanks for checking this out. I'll see you next time. See ya.